Hello, hello, hello. This is week 8 of The Artist's Way. Obviously, it has not taken me 8 weeks to do this. I'm a little bit off time, and I'm recording the podcast episode for this at the same time. I totally fell off, but that's okay. I'm holding myself less to perfectionism and more to just doing things. Done is better than perfect, you know? So, week 8 talks about survival. All artists must learn the art of loss, the loss of hope, money, faith, self-belief, and we suffer these in addition to our gains. What matters is that we move through the loss. It must be acknowledged or shared, lest they become scar tissue. Artistic gains are like our brain children. Losses are like miscarriages. Wow. Our artist self is a child, and so artist abuse is child abuse. Wowzers. She is making some really big statements here. I like it. She argues that many academics are artists whose beings are deeply frustrated at their lack of ability to create. Often they find creativity to be disturbing, and they can't be quantified in intellectual terms. The intellectual life is said to be built on criticism, and creativity is usually met with no support or approval. It's often overly cerebral and crippling. Criticizing our budding artist may uproot it altogether. Instead, we should appreciate growth for the sake of growth. Our timing is often premature, and our tone is too harsh when it comes to criticizing our products. Many times we sabotage ourselves with fear and low self-worth. Counting our losses allows us to heal. Art is the act of structuring time. So wherever there's loss, there's also potential gain. So we want to ask ourselves, how can this loss serve me? Look at it in the way of every ending is also a beginning. Where does this loss point to my work? Metabolize the pain as energy. Ask, what next, instead of, why me? The key to career resiliency is self-empowerment and choice. Don't let the bastards get you down. Often we tell ourselves that we're too old or too young. Our ego does this to keep us from getting started. At the heart of artistic anorexia is avoidance. Focus on having done already. Creativity is the doing, not the done. So I really relate to this because a lot of the times I will get an idea and I'll get high off the inspiration of the feeling that I will have after the project is actually done, and that keeps me from actually taking the steps to do the thing. And that also keeps me from enjoying the actual process itself. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Focusing on the process helps us to retain a sense of adventure in our creative life. Focus. What does that say? I don't know what that is, but anyway. So, often artists deny curiosity and growth by fixating on an end result. Allow yourself the grace to be a beginner. This is also why I am avidly an anti-perfectionist. I think it's so important to allow ourselves to have activities where we don't have to be good all the time or Instagram worthy or social media worthy. We should just be allowed to do things and not be good at them, and it's not the end of the world. Instead, we should approach things with curiosity, openness, exploration, accomplishment. Take small and scary steps. Filling the form means taking the next small step. Often we hold a fear of abandoning life to prevent us from taking that step, i.e., I can't work here and do this, or I can't have this job and be a painter. We often expect life to change drastically all at once. This is grandiosity and its own undoing. The sense of defeat is just drama in our brains that is there to scare us, whereas our creativity involves many small steps. I don't really know if these notes that I took are making sense, but they resonated with me at the time that I wrote them. Ooh, and then she called me out in this next part. She talks about how Okay, so like our addiction to like our anxiety, like we have like an addiction to anxiety whether we want to like realize it or not, but like that's what keeps us in this state of like preventing us from taking these small steps that can help us like get things done. And then we wallow in the big existential questions, and that allows us to fail to see small answers. And that's so true, because it's like a lot of the big projects that I want to do, it's not just one giant step, it's a bunch of little ones. Called out. Then she gets into the childhood stuff. She says children are often told that they can't do something, or they are told and expected to do something with ease. And I think that sets people up for unrealistic expectations. It's like, you know, sometimes you are going to mess up, or sometimes things will be challenging, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing just because you like mess up a little bit. So then some of the assignments, getting into the assignments. So fill out the answers to these statements. As a kid, my dad thought my art was blank. My mother taught me that my daydreaming was blank. The person I remembered who believed in me was blank. I grew up thinking artists were, I'll give my answer to this one. I said the coolest people ever, but I was strongly discouraged from being like them because I was told that a lot of artists do drugs, and that's bad. Then the next part of the book, she says anger is a map. It points us in the direction that we want to go. And that just really resonates with me because, like, I've said it before in the past chapters, but like usually when we see a piece of art that makes us angry, a lot of the times it's because we think that we could do something better. And I know I feel that way. Like sometimes I'll see a performance and I'm like, I performed just as well as that person, or even better than that person, and I should be getting paid more. But it's like, am I putting myself out there enough? No. Or it's like, you know, you might see a movie and you'll be like, that movie sucked. I could make way better movies. Well, are you making movies? I don't see you doing that. So do it. So these were some creativity affirmations that she listed in this chapter. I am a talented, creative person. I have a right to be an artist. I now treat myself and my creativity more gently. I now share my creativity more openly. I now accept God, the universe, creators, help in unfolding my creative gifts. I now believe God loves artists. I now believe God loves artists like myself. That hits close to home because it's Pride Month, and I feel like that last line makes me think of a certain Lady Gaga song, if y'all know what I'm talking about. Now for additional tasks. Task 1, name your dream. 2, choose one landmark that signals to you its accomplishment and call it the North. Find it in your inner compass. What action can you take this year, month, day, and right now to move in that right direction? Then examine your dream more closely. Select a role model and make them your mentor. What might they tell you to do in 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, right now? I just automatically thought of Prince, and I feel like he would just tell me to do it. Like he would just, like, he was like a get it done kind of guy. Like he worked on all of his projects, like every inch of his projects. And he really like took control of everything, and that's something that I admire about him. And so I feel like he would just be like, come on, take control, fucking do it. Then the next assignment is, what might you have been if you had perfect nurturing? Meditate about it on a walk. That was interesting. Then, plan a perfect day in your life as it is currently constituted. Then, plan a perfect day in your life as if it were perfectly constituted. And like compare and contrast the differences. I mean, I don't know, the main difference that I said was like I want to do all the things that I do now, but just like with more money, so I could do them more comfortably without worrying about money in the background, you know? Then you choose an aspect from your perfect day and allow yourself to live it fully in your imagination. Then you choose one aspect of your perfect day and allow yourself to live it fully in your life. So, like, what are some of those things from the perfect day that you can actually, like, incorporate into your daily habits? Like, don't just make that, like, a desire, make it a reality. So, yeah, that's week 8 of The Artist's Way, and I did read chapter 9, but I didn't do it. So, maybe I'll do that this week. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it in a month. We'll see. Anyway, take care, y'all.